Welcome back to this presentation on an East Lothian curling history. Slide 1. The Province Badge. This badge is the earliest reference to the East Lothian province. Its main activity would have been organising the bonspiel for the Elco Cup. It is known that delegates attended a county meeting in 1861. But the source of that information is the Haddingtonshire Courier for that year. The badge was probably linked to the visit of curlers from Canada in 1909 for the Strathcona Cup. Slide 2. The year 1838 was a significant one for the development of the sport of curling. A writer in the Edinburgh Advertiser of 1837 reported that the severity of the weather and its long continuance at this season of the year are altogether unprecedented in our latitudes. Alistair Dawson, in his book A History of Scotland's Weather and Climate, writes that snow and blizzards returned again during the winter of 1837–38, with snow on the ground from January to early May. Snow is not usually linked to curling. Keen ice is preferred. It was in May 1838 that the first meeting to set up the Grand Caledonian Curling Club took place after several previous attempts. By that time, there were 3 curling clubs established in East Lothian: Dunglass and Coburnsparth, Gladsmuir and East Linton. Slide 3. Newbyth Lake on Sir David Baird's estate. The lake at Newbyth was regularly used for club and province matches, where hospitality was provided by Sir David's wife, a member of the family that owned Ailsa Craig, the source of granite for curling stones. Slide 4. Smeaton Lake. Some estates had lakes or ponds that could offer safe conditions when there were periods of hard frost. Addington had use of land adjacent to the River Tyne. Balgone and Newbyth could provide a location for competition for the County Cup after it was donated by the Earl of Wemyss in 1857, but it was first played for in 1859. 21 annual games are recorded over a 40-year period. An artificial rink was created for Gladsmuir Club by the Reverend John Ramsay, but on his resignation in 1841, the club moved to a pond and a quarry to enjoy the roar of the stones over the deep water. The minutes disclose that a bottle of objects was buried on the site, but it still awaits discovery. By the start of the 20th century, outdoor artificial rinks were in use at Yester, Durlton, North Berwick and Haddington, using tarmac or concrete bases, while other areas at Dunbar and Nunraw used sites where water flow could be controlled, and the shallow conditions provided a still water area able to freeze over at times of hard frost. This photo is probably the second oldest showing a curling match. Slide 5. The 1861 Smeaton Hebburn Claret Jug. This ornate claret jug was presented to the owner of Smeaton Lake as an appreciation of his hospitality and use of the lake by members of East Linton Curling Club. The special story of the 2 claret jugs linked to East Linton can be found in my article in the magazine East Lothian Life, issue 105, autumn 2018. Slide 6. By 1912, with the opening of the new Haymarket ice rink in Edinburgh, a radical change took place with the new facility for indoor curling. This is a photo of Sir Archibald Buchenhaber of Smeaton at the opening of the new rink in his capacity as chair of the committee. Slide 7. It also saw the formation of a ladies' club in Edinburgh, formed on the 15th November 1912, and Mrs. Reid of Winterfield in Dunbar was a member of the committee, and a Mrs. Patterson, a member of the Dale family of Seacliff and North Berwick, was a member of a touring party to America in the 1920s. The East Linton Club agreed to have women members in the 1850s, but none appear to have joined. Here are 3 examples of silverware donated for major competition. Slide 8, the Elco Cup for affiliated clubs in the East Lothian province. The cup was presented by Lord Elco for competition between East Lothian clubs in 1857. The first winner was a club from North Berwick, who do not appear to have been affiliated to the RCCC. An account in the Scotsman discloses that Linton, the oldest and strongest, had been expected to win the cup at the first competition held in 1859. They lost to North Berwick. Revenge was achieved at the second game of the competition in 1860, when they beat North Berwick in the final. There was then an issue about an act of vandalism by Linton, according to the press report, and later letters in the Haddingtonshire Courier in 1861. This appears to have been linked to the attachment of a medal by the North Berwick Club, which upset the East Linton members, who wanted the cup and nothing but the cup. The minutes, by means of a later insert, provide details of the actual game, which had been played at New Baith on the 27th of December 1860, but do not refer to the incident. A later minute of 22nd February 1861 advises that the matter was brought before a meeting of delegates of the East Lothian Club held in the George Hotel, Haddington, which resolved that the medal and clasp attached to the Lord Elco Cup be returned to the North Berwick Club, the rightful owners, who had no right to do what they did. The cup is still played for annually by the clubs of the East Lothian province. Slide 9, the Sir Richard Waldegrave Trophy. This magnificent trophy was presented by Sir Richard Waldegrave of Hendersonside Park, Kelso, to encourage competition between the provinces of the Royal Caledonian Curling Club. It was first competed for in 1911. The aim of the donor was fully realised when 17 provinces, represented by 1,248 curlers, took part in the Bonspiel at the new indoor rink in Glasgow. The four East Lothian clubs had the highest average score and took the trophy home. The four players from the Johnsonburn club had the highest up score and received gold medals to mark their success. The cup was exhibited in Mr. Gilchrist's butcher's shop window in Hannington, something the present RCCC committee would not allow today. East Lothian has now won that competition on 5 occasions, including the competition for 2023. Slide 10. A photo of the Waldy Griffith Trophy being presented to the province about 10 years ago. There are some well-known faces. Slide 11. There is a wealth of stories about the trophies of the individual clubs. This one was competed for by the members of a competitive East Lothian Rink Club in 1914, organised by a Colonel Wingate Gray of Nunraw. The rink folded after his death in October 1931. It is now possessed by the Haddington Club. Was the donation of this cup for curlers in the county a response to the loss of active curling clubs because of the war? Curling in East Lothian was probably at its zenith at the start of the 20th century. That was the era of the Reverend John Kerr of Dilton, who published an account of the history of curling in 1890. He died in 1920. The appendix of a list of provinces in 1889 does not include any reference to East Lothian or Haddingtonshire. In the season 1889-90, there were 13 curling clubs affiliated to the Royal Caledonian Curling Club. All organisations have to consider options for change. In the past few years, consideration has been given to the sport's image and its promotion in the competitive world of the 21st century. Now branded as Scottish Curling, assurances were given at the AGM of 2019 that the official name is still the Royal Caledonian Curling Club, and the new name is for trading purposes. Slide 12. The research project on the formation of the clubs in East Lothian can give clues as to why clubs were formed to enjoy the sport. The RCCC structure encouraged wider competition, such as offering the Grand Match experience as indoor events every 5 years after the year 2000. The decade between 1900 and 1909 raised the potential of international visits, especially with the Canadian Games of 1902-3 and 1909. Elite curling training has objectives for delivering international success in return for financial support. The past 10 years has seen curlers from Scotland achieving remarkable success at international events. Some of these are mentioned in press releases now stored on my computer. But what of the future? The president of the RCCC announced in Forfar at the annual meeting for 2023 that curling in Scotland was in crisis if we did not attract newcomers to the game and retain the present membership. I will leave that discussion for another day. Hopefully, the roar of the stone on ice will still be a sustainable sport by the time the 200th anniversary of the founding of the Royal Caledonian Curling Club is celebrated. In the meantime, I plan to visit this combined venture of a garden centre and a curling venue for local and elite curlers at Preston in England. One thing is certain, is that we will never see a repeat of an all-day match for the County Cup held in December 1878 beside the Tyne at Amesfield at Haddington, which started in the morning with 130 players representing 13 clubs, encountered extreme wintry conditions, had at least 3 breaks to decide whether to continue, and finally ended with 16 players for the 2 clubs in the final, and some spectators at the end, looking like a party of Arctic adventurers in search of the North Pole. The strong young hillmen of yester were the winners by 7 shots to 4. Nor are we likely to see the spectacle of a grand match as a consequence of climate change, unless we lose the protection of the Gulf Stream in our fragile world of today. We are told that is a possibility. Curling is in crisis, but as the Toledo University Club has shown, it can still be enjoyed internationally, or as revealed in this slide of the Marco Outdoor Curling Society rink at an indoor grand match. The Marco Outdoor Curling Society rink brings this presentation to a close. Thank you for listening to the report on my research.